Fight for it! Fight for it! Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back!
In this film, you will meet young people from different parts of the world who are affected by the climate crisis in different ways.
Most of you here, you come from places where it's green, where it's cool. Children in hostile areas are actually struggling.
Some are already living in the middle of it. Others have just started to witness changes. You will see how the climate crisis affects their lives and how they react to the situation.
Just nu är det flesta som är liksom äldre som håller på att styra och de kommer ju liksom dö snart. Så att
Every single young person in the world has the power to change the world right now.
The climate on Earth is rapidly changing. This is mainly because of greenhouse gas emissions. One of these gases is carbon dioxide. Emissions have been steadily increasing since the industrialization of the 19th century, though in recent decades they have increased significantly. These are all human-caused emissions. Australia is a country responsible for large emissions of carbon dioxide. At the same time, they are being hit hard by the consequences.
My name is Chris. I'm 15. I'm a climate activist.
It's like erasable chalk paint, so it's completely safe and legal.
We've sort of realised as young people in this country that it's our duty to stand up and fight for our future because the older generations just aren't. We do have a very laid-back culture in Australia, and in some sense that's really good, but in another sense, I think a lot of adults especially just say, yeah, whatever. I mean, it'll sort itself out, and if it doesn't, who cares? And I guess that is, I think, not a great attitude.
It's really amazing to see so many people here today. I'm a young climate activist from the Northern Beaches, and I just really wanted to tell you quickly about my story and just explain what my group, School Strike for Climate, has planned for the future. And that was
The first major event, and I guess the first big wake-up call for me about how bad the climate crisis was the Black Summer bushfires. They're the biggest and most destructive bushfires in Australia's history. Seeing how devastating it was and how much it impacted people's lives, you know, it was eye-opening.
I'm pretty sure I almost died.
I can remember the smell that really burnt.
No, it was horrible.
Yeah.
It's not just the fact about how close it came, the fire specifically, but I guess the smoke being so bad. Mum has asthma and Daniel does as well, and seeing both of you, you know, struggle to literally breathe it was scary for me. I was scared. I'm just sort of anxious about my future. I don't want to be living in a future where my house is constantly flooded or I need to be running away from bushfires. When I get anxious, I react physically. I get nauseous, I get tummy aches, you know, my breathing quickens, I get a tight chest. Being a climate activist, it's sort of an outlet, a release for my anxiety. Often people describe feeling helpless when they're anxious about something, that they feel like they can't change it, but there are things that I can do to actually change it and actually impact the future, and it's what drives me to try and make this change.
The people in the poorest countries are hit the hardest by climate change. Australia's neighbour, the island nation of Vanuatu, gave an early warning for climate change and rising sea levels. If this continues, rising sea levels will devastate Vanuatu completely. No one will be able to live here anymore.
Name Jennifer Omu. Mi blo ambrem. Something me interest me game time mi stable free time me. Like play football with all friend me. Play with all frata man sister.
But the threat to Vanuatu is not only the rising sea levels. They are also more often affected by extreme weather, such as tropical storms.
Ikat one cyclone in Binkam, given Mochuti. The cyclone in Pasikamko, yes, Auspemivlam bin Katamichlem, Kapa mi bin fly out. Lo time I'm been feeling no good from Vlalusum plant something, site lokai. Mo site lo kakai mo tu site lo water mo animal too.
For Vanuatu, whose entire existence is at stake, it is important that climate change is slowed down quickly. The Earth's average temperature is increasing. From around the year 1850, it has increased by approximately 1.2 degrees. And it will be even more if the emissions do not decrease quickly. Although 1 degree may not sound like much, it is. The increasing temperature has major consequences for the Earth and the people and animals that live here. In the region of Garissa, the climate crisis is alarming. Here, the reoccurring rainy seasons have not come as they usually do for many years. This has led to extreme drought and famine.
This whole area is covered by drought. The trees just fall down, like those small trees as you can see over there. Now this is the big, you can see until that area, it's being covered by grass that has dried. So the situation within the county is like this. There's not a single plant. So people, animals, they die. We got to lose all our animals. We could not provide to buy the feed for them because we ourselves were struggling to get our daily meal. So they just had to die. Climate action is not being taken. So it would be very good if we got a chance to create awareness amongst people and tell them about how life is for people who are living in ASAL areas.
It's very dry in Garissa, and most of the people, especially the ones who are living in the remote areas, their livestock are dying daily, on a daily basis. Some of them even want to commit suicide because there is no water in their area. Their livestock is dying each day. Yeah.
Actually, I lost my uncle because of drought. He was not well fed. There was no one to look after him. There was no food. So he ended up dying of starvation. And we couldn't do anything. Children and young people are harshly affected by the climate crisis.
The extreme drought means that children are forced to drop out of school to start working instead, or walk far to fetch water. Girls are at risk of early marriage because there's not enough food for everyone. Outside the city of Garissa, there's now camps with people who have tried to escape the drought and famine. They become climate refugees in their own country. The lack of food leads to malnutrition. The children do not grow as they should, and they get sick more easily.
Mtoto anaitwa nani? Abdullahi Isaac Abdi. Abdullahi Isaac Abdi. 11.4. Sawa, asante. 72.3. days ikisha unarudi kila siku moja. I'm here to supplement. By supplementing, it means the damage kinda has already been done.
Malnutrition in children is especially sensitive in the first 3 years of life, when the brain and body develop the most. This can lead to the children later finding it difficult to keep up in school and in life.
This kid was in the program last year. She was admitted on 8th of June 2022. She went through the whole program, follow-up, but now she has come back to be readmitted. Her weight has gone down. On some kids, we don't manage. And the kids, unfortunately, we lose them.
I dream of a better Garissa. I dream of somewhere green. I dream of somewhere the animals can just be running around and you would come in the evening, milk them. I dream we would receive rain, we would stop having drought, the climate change would stop. But that's not the case.
It is actually around the North and South Poles that the temperature rises the fastest. This leads to ice melting and rising sea levels. Those who live in areas with a lot of snow and ice have to adapt when the winters are no longer what they used to be. Indigenous people all over the world, such as the Sami in the Nordic countries, are particularly affected by the climate crisis.
Ja, de bor ju här bak i vårt hus. De är ju nära oss om det händer någonting. De bråkar ju om maten, så om vissa inte är nog modiga att komma fram så får inte vissa mat. Så därför ska man kasta överallt. Så jag kastar dit, jag kastar dit, jag kastar här framme. Så renare behövs som inte riktigt bråka. Vissa är sjuka, vissa blir friska igen. Då släpper vi ut dem. Vi vill ju helst att de ska vara ute på sitt fribete. Det har ju blivit ett tuffare klimat, mindre bete överallt.
Då har det alltså varit varmt och sen kallt och sen varmt och sen kallt. Då har det ju snön smält och sen har det blivit lite islager. Då har de svårt att hitta maten. De känner inte lukten.
Normally, the reindeer walk freely in the mountains and find their own food.
Vi har åkt hela dagen och de renarna har kommit ända från Padjelanta. Det är högst upp i vårt vista typ.
But as the climate is now rapidly changing, Astrid and her family must help the reindeer with food.
Öppnar du dörren så att du ser det. Att jag inte viker in i diket. Då tror jag de kommer fram.
Alltså renantalet, det går ju neråt. det går ju verkligen neråt. Det är ju som dött fler än det har kommit nya.
Just nu är det kanske hälften av så mycket som vi hade förut.
Hur kommer det bli i framtiden? Kommer vi klara oss? Så det är väldigt tungt att prata om klimatförändringarna. Om man ser här runt halsen så har vi olika band med olika färger. Min mamma har gula band, min morfar har gröna band och den här Lennart, den har orangea. När man får ut dem så här på ett led, då är det enklare att räkna dem.
Jag känner mig orolig, alltså vilket håll världen är på gång.
Climate change causes natural disasters such as forest fires, floods, typhoons, extreme rainfall, and droughts. This has become 5 times more common in recent decades. This is clearly noticeable in the region of Assam. The area is dependent on the rains that come during the annual monsoon. But now too much water is coming at once. This leads to devastating floods every year. During the monsoon, schools close, causing many students to drop out and not return. Pretty prepares the children in her village for the coming monsoon.
So, আজি আমি এটা WhatsApp group খুলিম হা তাত আমি মানে সব ইনফরমেশন পাম যে তুমি কি কৰিছা তুমি মানে during monsoon যেতিয়া আমাৰলোকৰ স্কুল বন্ধ থাকে ক্লাছৰ কিবা কোৱেশ্চন যদি বুজি নাপাও তেতিয়া সেই গ্ৰুপটোত কোনবাই কোৱেশ্চন দিব তো কোনবাই আনসাৰ দিব হয় না হেনেকে আমি হেতু গ্ৰুপত তো সবে নিজৰ নিজৰ নম্বৰ দিয়া ইশাল 7086 তোমাৰ নামটো কোৱা অনিমা তো যাৰ যাৰ নিজৰ নিজৰ ফোন নাই হেতি তাৰ পেৰেন্টছৰ নম্বৰ দিবা মই ইয়াত গ্ৰুপত এড কৰি দিম ঠিক আছে
Pretty wants the students to be able to continue studying even though the schools will close soon. That is why she started a project with mobile study groups.
और जब स्कूल बंद हो जाते हैं बहुत से बच्चे ड्रॉप आउट हो जाते हैं और फोर्सफुली टी गार्डन में काम करते हैं चाइल्ड मैरिज की समस्या बहुत अधिक बढ़ जाता है जब बच्चों से हमारा संपर्क टूट जाता है
Once the monsoon hits, everything floods. Houses and animals are swept away in masses of water. People drown and many lose everything they have. Now that the schools are closed, Pretty gathers the children in the small study groups she has prepared.
कुछ भी रीज़न से स्कूल नहीं छोड़ना है पढ़ाई को जारी रखना है और पढ़ाई के मामले में मैं मोटिवेट करती हूँ कि पढ़ाई हमें जारी रखना है All creature great and small All creature great and small All things rich and wonderful All things bright and beautiful और अलग दिन भी ऐसे वर्कशॉप हो और वो लोग के साथ हम कनेक्ट रहे ये बच्चे लोग चाहते हैं और मेरा एरिया के बच्चे लोग स्कूल जा रहे हैं और ड्रॉप आउट नहीं हो रहे और जब फ्लड का टाइम में स्कूल बंद हो जाता है उस टाइम मैं बहुत खुशी फील करती हूँ कि वो सारे बच्चे को मैं फिर से मिलूँगी और पढ़ाई के कार्य में वो लोग को मोटिवेट कर पाऊँ कि पढ़ाई वो लोग नहीं छोड़े हम मतलब छोटा हो या बड़ा कुछ भी कर इस एनवायरनमेंट के लिए कुछ चेंज लाना चाहिए।
Astrid will soon go up to the mountains to tag a reindeer and see how many reindeer have survived this year.
Man måste vara lite grundstark för att hålla på med renskötseln. För att slänga upp en skoter, dra renar, kasta lasso och sånt. Man kan verkligen känna om vi inte fått in renarna på länge. Alltså, vart är min små renar? Vart är mina gullegrisar?
Kvinna? Är det en bandvaja? Är det den här?
Ja, jag är ganska nöjd. Jag har inga omärkt kalvar. Och det är det man vill. Man vill inte ha omärkt kalvar nu på hösten. Det betyder att man har gjort ett bra jobb på sommaren.
Ja, alltså jag kommer ju fortsätta ha mina renar tills jag dör. Och mina barn kommer fortsätta ha renarna. Om de vill alltså.
Imran has been selected to represent young people from Garissa and speak at a major climate congress in the capital, Nairobi.
I can't believe that I'm actually going to a summit today, but there might be some challenges. For example, having to talk in front of all those people. It needs a lot of confidence, so I shall try and sharpen my confidence, inshallah. I give myself motivation that I'm doing all this. There are people out there who don't get help. I just got to the building for the event and it looks kind of big. Look at how it looks. Oh my God. I think it's big from the inside. It's surely gonna be the most memorable one in my entire life. Five deep breaths. I always do that. Tension is too high.
With climate change being an intergenerational challenge, our time, it is therefore imperative that all the generations and youth work hand in hand.
He's going to talk about the impact of climate change on a child living in an ASAL area. Let us clap for Imran as he comes over.
I'm Imran Hassan, a Form 3 student in Garissa High School. We have seen that our leaders are not doing anything for us, and we know that we are the youth. We are the ones who can create an impact. Then I am sure. I hope I'm very, very audible. Not even darkness can stop me. So, the youth can be involved in climate action. The youth can be given the power. The government has to aid the youth by providing them with finances. They have an obligation. They have an obligation. I think someone is against me. Where's the control room? Someone is against me. And I would like to conclude by saying, take this spirit to the next level.
Tumeenda safari na yeye sana. This man here talks about the environment much. Oh. This man is the game changer. I'm telling you, bro, this man is the game changer.
If you look at the trajectory that we're on, and with our current emissions reduction plans, we are going to see those worst impacts of the climate crisis. So I think conversations are one part, but now is the time for action. I, Christopher Black, high school student and complainant, state as follows. I've been involved with climate advocacy for a while.
Chris, along with other young people and lawyers, have sued the Australian government for not doing enough for the climate. Similar legal processes take place in many other countries, such as Sweden and the USA.
My demands for the Australian government would be to fund no new coal, oil and gas and to set a realistic, achievable net zero goal.
So we've got to be there at 11:15 for the school strike contingent. But if we're a bit late, it's probably fine.
Wait, is it beforehand at the town hall?
Yeah, at the town hall.
Like standing as the rally's happening, where do you want me to stand?
I think it's really important for young people to realise how much power they have and how much authority they actually hold over older generations. We need to be taking it up right to the big executives and the big politicians, and we need to be making sure that we are heard, because now is the time for action.